pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Roxanne Tufts-Keegan here.
Tim Kremen here.
Michael Green here.
Bonnie Gannon here.
Tracy Benjamin on the left here.
Okay. So we have approval of minutes. Has everybody
Make
had
a motion.
Wait a minute. Has everybody had a chance? There's maybe one minute. I thought there was maybe one, two. Yeah. No, I guess so. All right, I'm good with, if someone wants to, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes.
I move that we accept the minutes as written.
Someone want a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Would you sign those? Signature action. We have a tax map maintenance proposal. So I assume this is coming from Robin. And so this is, this must be CAI for our tax mapping, and it's the same price as what we paid last year. Yeah, it is CAI. And they're responsible for monitoring, documenting, process the maintenance of the process, the flow charts. This is for our tax. So we'll sign. So the next item we have that they're signing is the tax abatement. So we have one tax abatement that's coming from, so this is coming from Avatar. It says the residence assessment was lowered for the tax year 2020, however, the amount was not changed in the software program until after the second bill, therefore he's owed a refund on his 2024 taxes. Yeah,
How much is that like, man?
$337.21.
Nice. For the CAI,
Oh, no, that 2,200.
20, and that's, is that?
It's the same price as what we paid last year, yeah. You had delayed reaction there, Kate.
Way quick.
That's all right. And I think the last signature item is the New Hampshire DES, Department of Environmental Services.
Send Mom brought it over, just, he had to redo it.
Oh, yeah, okay, so, all right, so just this one, so it just needs Tim's signature on it. It's a redo of last, wait a minute, so we're gonna, this is just the redo of the last week's meeting, or when we approved for the DES for that grant, you know, for them to go move forward or whatever. on that.
Milfoil?
Yeah, and stuff,
Milfoil treatment for this year?
yeah.
Just
All
one.
right, so it's just the top page, right? Okay, so it just needs, yes, your new signature, Tim, that's all. I was trying to see if it needed any others, but it's just the top sheet. Okay.
So when does that have to get to the state line? I don't even know. No, that's fine.
I think it was the 23rd
February?
Thank you.
no later than February 21st.
So once I have that, Kim can make a copy and put that in the mail. And
If you don't know, that's fine.
It's right
You're
here.
on it, so I just want to make sure because these grant money's like,
I don't think this is
the
no wrong
deadlines come and go so quick.
The other, it got
Oh,
sent
yeah,
out.
sorry.
No, it got sent out last night, last week, and I put a copy in your bid.
It's John's headed for parts unknown.
Yes.
Thank you.
So we'll move on to old business. So there was a question about donations. It came up last week. We talked about it, and we were going to make a motion, but John Mullen was nice enough. He was in the audience, and he says, I believe they had done something a while back, and so he went through his archives, pulled something out. I don't know how he keeps this up, but, so from 2003, which was at the March 9, 2004, to see if the town will vote, and this was approved, so it was to see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to accept indefinitely on the behalf of the town gifts, legacies, and devices made to the town in trust for any public purposes as permitted by RSA 31:9, so 19. So we're good. So now we should see all those donations come flooding in, right?
I just want to make sure.
No, it's good, hey, good to ask. Okay, so, new business. So, you're up.
So, some of this you heard last month because I just started, so some of this will be redundant, unfortunately. As far as emergency management goes, there hasn't been a lot of condition monitoring. People are out there coming in and just receiving messages from the state based on that. Looks like this weekend is probably going to be another big one, but nothing super concerning at this point. But luckily in the month of January, there's not really a lot going on. Everything's frozen. So. For the month of January, we had 18 calls for service, 14 of which were EMS calls. Engine 1 and car 1 responded with a crew of 4 to a first alarm fire in Wakefield, up on just off Province Lake Road. It was a fifth-wheel camper. It was kind of a year-round residence at this point. So we responded and assisted them on scene. Ambulance 1 responded to New Durham for a mutual aid medical call at the paramedic level. I think it was the first mutual aid ambulance call in many, many years, so that was good for us to be able to return some favors. Ambulance 1 transported a trauma patient to Portsmouth Hospital's Trauma Center from here in Middleton. We actually had some really good trainings last month. We trained on search and rescue and on auto extrication. So we're getting our training program kind of running. Just this weekend, members trained on ice rescue as well, so we'll hear about that more next month. Our breathing apparatus was flow tested as well as the cylinders were hydro tested. 2 air packs are out for repair, but everything else passed and those 2 are spares. So that works out pretty well. We did have an emergency repair on an overhead door that got stuck open on one of our cold days, so we were able to get it down until it got here, but it has been repaired. We're working on equipment inventory since I started, just kind of getting a handle on what we have and what we can plan for the future and what we may need in the future. Ambulance transport billing for the month was sent out a total of $21,966.45. So that was what was billed out.
What would we expect maybe to get back on that, Jerry?
Our payer mix here is roughly a 60%. Based on insurance ratios, so we'll see what we get. You don't always get that.
No, but
Operating at the paramedic level, our billing will see an increase that we haven't had in the past, just because ALS transports are significantly higher bills in some cases. But it all depends on insurance.
Yep.
So our biggest thing is going to be Medicare, Medicaid, which is what most of the billing comes in for, and those rates are set. So you kind of get what you get on those. Per diem coverage began weekdays. Firefighter Wigan and Parks started covering some shifts with me during the day, so we have ambulance staff during the day, at least a couple days a week right now, so that's good. We'll continue to grow on that through time, but it's going to take some time like anything. We had 2 mutual aid ambulances in the month of January. They were both prior to my start. And so those were 2 mutual aid ambulances from Middleton. So we've been doing a good job of getting our own calls covered. We had some maintenance work on engine 5, the onboard air compressor. Pressure switch failed, and one of the batteries in the truck needed to be replaced. Lieutenant Lavalette and engineer Javera took care of that for us in-house, so there was no labor costs associated. And that's all I have for this week.
Great, thanks.
Good.
Next up, we have highway. Dan? That's what I thought.
Dan Phillips, DHI,
Oh, yeah, thank you.
resident road agent. And I would like to thank Chief Wheeler for shoveling off the ramp today. He had to get into his office, and while he was over there doing that, he shoveled the ramp out here, so thank you for that. Appreciate it. Okay, this is from January 13th through today, February 10th. Change the oil in truck number 2, that's a 1 ton, and grease that. Worked on the warrant article that we have going in and the highway report for the year for the annual report. Treated all the roads on the 18th. There was some freezing rain, or some rain that we had that froze up later on. We plowed a 5.5-inch storm on the 19th and 20th. Fixed a coolant leak in truck number 22. It ended up just being a hose clamp. It was underneath, so on the oil cooler. Fixed that. Common thing here. Changed the batteries in truck number 1. That's 2015. It had the original batteries in it, so 10 years on original batteries is pretty good, I thought. Washed all the trucks, oiled and greased the sanders. Plowed a 2.5-inch storm on the 30th. Plowed a 5-inch storm on the 31st and the 1st of February. Plowed a 3-inch storm on the 2nd and 3rd of February. Washed all the trucks and sanders and oiled and greased them again. We moved some piles at the end of Governor's Road in 153 and also at Fox in 153 for site issues that got called in. Thank you, Bonnie. Plowed a 4-inch storm on the 6th. Plowed another, cleaned up the roads the next day on the 7th. So the 6th was pretty cold out that night, and we had them all scraped down and treated, went home, came in the next morning at 7 o'clock, had them all cleaned up, plowed, and they melted off good, just in time for the storm on the 7th, which was another 4-inch storm. Then we plowed another storm on the 8th and the 9th, which was an 8-inch storm. And currently right now we're working on, we moved the snow over at the municipal building, around the parking lot stuff, make a little more room, around the old town hall here, at the PD, and at the fire department. Pushed back and shelved a couple of plow runs today. We're going to be doing some more of that tomorrow because, well, I'll get to the end of this. The new truck came in, which is going to replace the Terrastar, which is a mid-sized truck sitting right out back here. And we're just waiting for the company that's going to do the plow here. Once they're all set, they're just trying to play catch up right now. So once they're all set, we'll bring that up and get that dropped off. And yeah, so with the pending snowstorms that we have, we're supposed to have one that's 6 or 7 inches again on Thursday. And then on Sunday, it's kind of in the air right now, but you're probably looking anywhere between, a foot and 16 inches, so we'll see. But anyways, that's
That hasn't happened yet.
it hasn't happened yet, and hopefully it'll be history, but that's what they're predicting right now. So just look for us to be out there pushing back some snow bankings and doing a little bit of shelving, and that's just to make room for, they're forecasted, upwards of 2 feet of snow in these next 2 storms. So hopefully it's not that much, but we're ready for it anyways.
Thanks.
Any questions?
No.
All
I just
right.
want to say thank you for taking care of that. I was told it was much, much better.
Yeah, and he's doing the same thing again tomorrow.
Super.
So he'll be doing all the intersection. And if anybody has any intersections or spots where it's hard to see a site issue, just give us a call, or you can call the office and the message will get to us, but they are gonna be working on all the intersections that come out and onto the main roads and in the neighborhoods. They're gonna do the main roads first. And by main roads, I mean Kings Highway, Ridge Road, New Durham Road, Silver, and some on 153 if they need it. So that's what we're gonna be working on. All right.
Thanks. Yep.
Thank you.
Next up, police.
All right. We had a relatively busy month for call volume and just all intents and purposes going through kind of organizing and figuring things out as far as where we're at for documentation, reporting, et cetera, with the state and what have you. We handled 22 incidents that were reported. Those ranged anywhere from burglary, sexual assaults to minor VIN verification, things along those lines. We did make one arrest. We had one motor vehicle accident, and we stopped 11 motor vehicles. Part of that was we had Randy for a good portion of the month. Officer Sobel and myself did quite a bit around the PD as far as inventory. At this point, we've basically gone through all of, just like the fire department, all of the inventory as far as equipment, gear, uniforms, organized it all, accounted for it all, put it on spreadsheets so that we know where everything is. Went through ammo inventory. I conducted a review of the evidence in the evidence room with hopes of, by the end of this month, we'll complete a full audit on the evidence room as far as all the evidence that's in the police department. We did go through the locker room / town vault and got rid of a lot of unnecessary stuff that was in there. That seemed to be the catch-all for everything. So I've tried to remove all of the police department stuff out of there and organize it, put it away, clean that up a little bit. I met with a lot of the local vendors for the department and discussed with them as far as equipment needs, cruiser needs, uniform needs, introduced myself and kind of made that connection with all of them for future needs. I did go through most of the cruisers. Some have gone to service to Ford to be looked at and evaluated for repairs. We did have to also replace batteries, wound up replacing 3 batteries in 3 of the cars. I did go ahead and replace those myself, and I was able to get, I think, one of them covered under warranty. We did conduct training internally with the IMC database system, kind of showed the Secretary and Officer Sobel some of the technology that we had that we weren't taking advantage of. Completed all the state required annual reports for the calendar year and got all those in the time and manner of the training. Requirements have gone up this year, so every officer is required to conduct a minimum of 24 hours of training. And that training has to be an approved curriculum by the New Hampshire Police Standards and Training Council, on top of any instructor certification, things like that they have. Officers are also required to conduct 6 hours of training annually in regards to ethics, bias, use of force, things along those lines as well. A lot of that's online, which is good. There's a couple classes that I'm going to go to in person. So I've tried to schedule those around the needs of the town. We took care of, we had some tires, stock of tires that were down in the Brizio's. They've been down there for some time, so we went down and got those, brought them back to the police department, made room for them, cleaned out the shed, and got those stowed away in there. I'm sure I'm missing a whole bunch. Mutual aid, we drafted new mutual aid agreements with local communities surrounding us. Drafted mutual aid agreements for Farmington, Middleton, and Durham, Wolfboro, Wakefield, and Alton. I haven't met with all of those municipalities yet, but I have gotten a couple of those signed, and I'll continue to reach out and meet with the rest of them.
Which ones were signed? Which ones did you get signed?
Farmington is signed
Yep.
and done. Milton, and my hope is maybe I can get New Durham tomorrow. then I'll continue on with, those are our three closest, and then from there I'll stretch out to Alton, Wolfboro, and Greenfield, so. And then other than that, recruitment. So we're gonna put a hard push forward this upcoming week for recruitment and try and get some candidates in as far as filling our part-time and our full-time positions. I do have some applicants at this point that have expressed interest. One has dropped off his, actually gone ahead and dropped off his resume, whatever. But at this point, they are non-certified candidates. So I'm hopeful that in the coming weeks, we'll see some certified candidates. If not, we'll explore the non-certified option at that point.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Question.
Yep.
What's different in the new mutual aid agreements?
Nothing. It's so. One, I have to draft. It's all a legal document under statute, but basically changing the names. The people that have like now it's in my name.
So instead of it being say
because
Chief Phillips, it's now Chief Ferguson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So I had to redraft them, and then I kind of changed some language in them, a little bit of language to be more of a legality standpoint. But ultimately, to give them authorization to come here with police powers, they need approval through me, and vice versa. If they need our help to go over there, we need approval by them. So it's an agreement that both myself and the chief from the surrounding community sign off on and agree. It also holds the town harmless. So if like Middleton comes over here to help us out and they end up getting in a car accident, it clearly outlines in the agreement that anything that happens to them or their property while they're here is their responsibility.
Thanks.
Well, thank you.
Do we have a town clerk tax collector report? Okay. I know we don't have a treasurer's report. Do we have a code enforcement officer report? No. So, okay, so the next item we have is candidates discussion.
Yeah. So I sent you guys what's called two things. The first thing I was actually going to talk about is I've noticed in two different communities that they've been putting the candidate information up on their website. I kind of did a sample of, or a combination of what I've seen. Pretty much it's basically, it's basic, looking for name, address, what office they're looking for, how long they've been a resident, previous town or public service, and just an explanation as to why they want to be a part of this. The beginning, what's called the paragraph in the beginning, kind of talks about what we're looking for as far as, the information, tells them if they want to provide a photo that we can put up there with it. And that the only thing we're not going to accept is personal or political attacks. So I was hoping to get the board's approval to send that out to the candidates and put it on the website and in our social media pages.
Any comments, questions, concerns?
As a candidate, I don't agree with it.
You don't agree? Okay.
I think if people want to advertise on their own, they can. They can put it out there themselves, but I don't think it's up to the town to do this.
I just thought it'd be a service we could provide, but I understand where you come from.
Mike, do you have any comments or questions? Tracy?
If someone doesn't provide their information, I don't know, I feel like it's a sticky wicket.
Yeah.
If they don't provide their information, then it's on them at that point. I'm just providing
I just
opportunity.
don't, as a board member, I would not want to get involved in that. You want a campaign, that's why we provide the candidates night. You can do your signs, you can do social media. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
If
Like I said, it's just something I've seen in other, it's other communities, so I thought it might be interesting, but the board doesn't want to do it.
So where does that leave us?
So I guess we're not doing it.
Okay.
All right.
What
The
was
other
your-
thing is the invitation to the candidates for the candidates night. I drafted.
It's going to be Tim and Tracy moderating the questions or moderating the So I suppose people could send in questions, right? If they wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean-
Just because there are some people who might not be able to make it or whatever, and if they have, so where would we have them?
My thought was to have them send them into Kim.
Okay, perfect. So we'll put Kim on the.
So Kim's, yeah, we already have Kim's.
Oh, okay, yeah,
information
you
on
do.
there.
Sorry, you're right, you do.
Pass them right on to us.
Right. It is, and her information's on here, so as far as when we put it up there, is if you have questions for Candace, but you can't make it, we can have them send the emails to Kim. Perfect. Okay. So with that, I'll open it up to public comments.
I have a question.
Sure, Kate.
Town attorney on this week, the 13th, 20th, 13th.
The 13th,
10
I
a.m.
saw it, yeah.
What's that about?
Do you want to speak to that, Tim? Or?
The ZBA is involved in a lawsuit, and the roots of the ZBA are being deposed on that day.
Oh, it's open to the public and it's
No,
going to be here?
No,
Well, why is it on the town calendar?
because it's reserving the space, so it's not a bit, so telling everybody that the building is not available. No. You can sit in the parking lot maybe, Kim.
Is that a hard no?
We're closing the
Yeah.
blinds for you,
Yeah.
Kate.
So that's,
Well, that opens up my Thursday morning.
okay, so it's Thursday?
Thursday, right now, that's,
Is
yeah,
there gonna be rain or shine or snow?
not sure. I would
Whatever
suspect,
happens, yeah.
No, I'm just asking because it's,
Unless we hear from the lawyer that she's canceling it,
all right.
It's all right.
People
So,
Yeah.
so you guys will let me know, just
Yeah.
to, you know,
absolutely.
obviously we'll have to, I mean, not that
Right.
we try to keep that parking lot open.
right, it's not a priority for this one, because usually it's not being utilized during a storm, so yeah.
Well, no, I'm just saying if it's still going on, we'll make a conscious
Yeah.
effort to get over here and, you know, I mean, we don't wanna,
Yeah.
you know,
No.
people slipping on the ramp
No, we
and
don't.
all that stuff, so.
Was that moved at the last meeting? Because it was supposed to be on a Wednesday also. which was the
to my
9th.
knowledge, it wasn't moved. So.
No, I think this is a new date.
Oh, a new date.
Yeah.
In addition to?
I think in
The other
addition
one
to-
is not
I think-
on the calendar, just so you're aware.
Yeah, there'd have to be a conversation with Robin on that, but I believe the 19th would be reserved as well.
And
Should be.
before we go any more public, we might want to discuss our Wednesdays.
Oh, yeah, so,
double booking.
yes.
The other thing we
Yeah.
have is we have
Thank you.
Voting Works training on the 26th.
6.
Sorry.
That's right, I know it's during the week of the 22nd there.
Yeah, so we have 26th, we have training, and because of the space needed and the people involved in their schedules, we're going to be doing that here.
Right. And then the other date is there's going to be more need on the 2/19 for the ZBA
Legal.
for legal. So those 2 days, Vintage Villagers are usually in the town hall those days. They will not be able to use the building that day because for town business, this takes precedence over the town.
So it's the new, for the 26th, it's the new voting machine.
Right.
That where everybody's going to be using on the March 11th. And we want to make sure that before we use it, we know how to use it.
Right. Right, so saying that is good, because we're gonna try and attempt to use the new machine, so it reads it, so we don't have to sit here and do like, Tracy, Mike, Tracy, Mike, Tracy, Mike, so instead of having to have somebody actually the machine is actually gonna be able to count, do the counting for us.
Nice.
Fingers crossed, and so we might get out of here a little bit earlier than later. So that's.
So, and we're actually having Voting Works, the
Yeah.
company who makes the machine, come in and train everybody involved, make sure that we have no hitches.
Right.
Hopefully.
Yeah, well, we would attempt that anyways. So we covered the 219 and the 226. So anything else? Sorry, I did forget you mentioned that earlier. Any other comments, questions, concerns? We can't talk to snow because, we can't. Snow's. Okay, well, with that said, does our board have anything? Comments, concerns, questions? Well,
I'll
we'll
make
get
a motion to adjourn.
at 7 o'clock. Someone want to second that?
I'll second it.
All those in favor? Aye. Thanks for coming out, everybody. So Kim, you can just attach. Yeah.